Hi guys, this is Emily Cupelli for the Alleyway Stamps, and for today's card I'll be using the Now You See Me and Niner Niner stamp sets. I already die cut some Polaroid frames from Strathmore watercolor paper, and I am stamping the desired images using my archival ink in jet black, which is a waterproof ink. For the stars, I thought on heat emboss them using white embossing powder, but didn't want to deal with any powder today, and since it is a Halloween card, I decided that the stars would go perfect in black, so I used the same ink for all the images. For the coloring, I started scribbling a bit of my pumice stone distress marker over my craft sheet, which is a non-porous surface. Then I picked the color with my Wink of Stella in clear and started coloring the eyes. I am adding the color to the edges of the eyes and blending it to the center. This way the center will be lighter and the eyes will look rounder. I did the same with the eyes of the bunny. As I just said, this is a Halloween card, so the eyes would have looked great in yellow or even in red as well. For the background of the little pictures I am creating, I use different color combinations which are great for Halloween cards. For the first one, I used faded jeans and Dusty Concord Distress ink pads. I started adding the purple to the bottom part and blending it to the top. Then I added the blue to the top part and blended it into the purple color. When I use the Wink of Stella to watercolor, I do not add any water to the ink. I simply squeeze my ink pads over my non-porous surface and pick it with the Wink of Stella glitter brush in clear. I always prefer to start adding a small amount of color to my images and add more if I want it darker, since it is easier to add more color than remove it. Anyway, with watercolors, you can always use a damp paper towel to remove some color if you added too much. If I were using water, I would add more water to make the color lighter, but in this case, I simply pick the color with the brush and scribble it in a clean surface to remove a bit of color from my brush. For the next image, I am using my favorite Halloween background color combination, which is orange and red. For these colors, I am using Spice Marmalade and Barnyard Distress ink pads. I started with the lightest color, in this case the orange, and then I will add the darker one. With the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush, not only is easier to watercolor, but also adds tons of glitters and sparkles to the image without an additional step, which I love. To clean the brush, I use a dry paper towel. If I have too much of one of the colors in my brush and I am not getting the blending I want, I simply clean it and go back to finish blending both colors together. For the stars background, I am using mustard seed and peeled paint. I am coloring over the stars since I will be coloring them in black later on the video, which makes this image even easier to color. On all of my backgrounds, I'm making the top part darker and the bottom part lighter. I wanted the green more yellowish, but I do not have such green among my distress inks. So I am making my own, mixing the green with the yellow ink. Probably the Twisted Citron is more similar to the green I wanted, but with the colors I already have, I can get the color I want without the need of having another ink pad. So do not feel like you need to have every single color. If you can afford them and you want them all, then go for it. Otherwise, just experiment with the colors you already have, and you will get even more colors than you could possibly buy. Since I wanted to make my card as spooky and Halloweeny as I could, I decided to color the bunny in yellowish green too. For this, I am mixing the same green and yellow for the bunny. I am coloring its body in this color except for the belly, and I am making it a bit darker In the areas I want the shadows to give it more dimension. I will keep adding more ink until I am happy with the result. I get great and easy results with this brush, so I am looking forward to fill it with water once I use all the glitter and try it as a watercolor brush. Now for the belly part, I am using some Dusty Concord Distress ink. This way I incorporated in this image a bit of the other two images, where I used green in one and purple in the other. I am adding the ink to the bottom part and blending it upward. This way I get darker in the bottom. Now I will use the black soot distress marker to fill the outline of the stars, but you can use any black marker you may have or a black gel pen, or even leave them like they already are. Also, you can squeeze a bit of black archival ink on your surface and use it with the Wink of Stella to color the stars. Then I will use a black gel pen to draw a scar to the bunny's face. Also, I will draw some red veins on the eyes of this image using a dark red Signo Broad gel pen. I am making them very simple, but I think it adds a lot to the card. I will use the same gel pen to color the nose of the bunny. I die cut another set of the Polaroid frames out of black cardstock and cut some pieces of acetate in the same size than the frames. I added some dry adhesive to the thinnest parts of the frames and some multimedia matte to the thickest area. I will stick the acetate piece to it and will press it down to make sure it sticks well. I will add the same adhesive to another frame, always cleaning my surface and the edges of the frame. This second frame will give it more stability. I will selectively ink up the Halloween word in the stamp set and stamp it on a white stitch journaling card I already die cut using my archival ink in jet black. Then I will clean my stamp and ink up the word happy to stamp it above the one I already stamped. You can cut the stamp apart if it is easier for you. I put in the frames the inside pieces I already colored. Before I add the liquid adhesive, I will arrange them to know exactly where I want them, and then I will finish gluing them. I will press them down very well. Here you can see the effect the acetate adds, plus it keeps the glitter in place since it does rub off. You could keep it simpler and cleaner, but I decided to add some sequins and stars to it. I glued them using my multimedia mat, and die cut the little stars from some silver glitter cardstock. I am using my tweezers for the sequins and my quick stick for the stars, since it is the easiest way for me to pick up these glitter elements. I am cleaning the edges of the stars with the pick tool to remove the excess of glue. Then I will add some distress stickers in clear rock candy to the center of the sequence. It is barely noticeable though, so you can skip this step if you prefer. Finally, I glued a mat to an A2 white card base and glued the journaling card over it. I decided to keep the rest of the card that simple because I feel it already looks busy enough in the center. But you could decorate the black mat as well if you prefer. Here is the final result. I am not sure if you can really see all the glitter in here, but it's pretty noticeable in the close-up pictures and looks even prettier in person. Also, I think the acetate adds a nice finishing touch to the card, but you can skip that step to make it simpler and faster. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to my channel as well as the Alleyway Stamps channel if you are not subscribed yet. Remember to visit both blogs to see the full list of supplies and more close-up pictures. Here are two other videos in case you missed them. The first one is my last video, Perfect for Fall, where I used some masking technique and watercoloring. In the second one, I used the same stamp set I used today to create a one-layer card with a totally different look. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!